Morning. I would like to call the June 11th meeting of the Delaware County Redevelopment Commission to order. If you could please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Mr. Kiesling.
Present.
Commissioner Brand.
Here.
Mr. Adams.
Here.
Mr. Redevelopment.
Here.
Ms. Green.
Here. This time I'd take a motion to approve the minutes from the May 14th meeting.
So moved. Second.
Okay. Roll call, please.
Mr. Kiesling.
Yes.
Commissioner Brand.
Yes.
Mr. Redevelopment.
Yes.
Ms. Green.
Yes. Next on the agenda is the 2026 pass-through determination letters. Good morning, Matt. How are you?
Good morning. I'm doing okay. Nice to see everyone today. For the record, my name is Matt Eckerly. I'm with Baker Tilly out of Indianapolis, and we serve as the financial advisor for the Redevelopment Commission. What you are considering today, there's in the annual calendar of various requirements of redevelopment commissions, by June 15th of each year, you're required to make a finding regarding the capture of eligible incremental assessed value for the upcoming calendar year. And that is what is before you today. And what you have to do is make a finding on your desire to capture or pass through eligible incremental assessed value for the County Redevelopment Commission's tax increment allocation areas. The president will then execute a notification letter that states this is what our intent is, and then that letter needs to get distributed to every affected taxing unit. And that all needs to happen by June 15th. And then also the auditor's office has to upload those notification letters and the distribution lists into the gateway system that is a statewide repository system by that date as well. And this year there's a new twist in this requirement. I think I mentioned this when I was here a couple months ago. But there is now a requirement that if said notification does not take place in a timely manner, there will be an automatic pass-through, a penalty, so to speak, of 5% of eligible incremental assessed value in every allocation area. And, that can create circumstances with some of your allocation areas where that could jeopardize your ability to pay bonds. So not only is it something that just needs to be done, there's now some teeth behind that in terms of the state. So we're here today for you to take those actions. I know I've outlined your allocation areas previously and your needs to pay various debt obligations and non-debt obligations. Historically, the Redevelopment Commission, and this is going back over 10 years, has passed through 100% of eligible incremental assessed value in the BioVision Ag Park allocation area. For 2027, we're estimating that would be around $556,000 of assessed value split between 3 taxing districts. That would generate about $15,000 to $16,000 in revenues if you didn't pass that through. There's 17 parcels in that allocation area. And then also historically, the Redevelopment Commission has elected to pass through eligible homestead incremental assessed value in the Morrison Road allocation area. You'll recall that Morrison Road and Daleville are your 2 legacy allocation areas that were established before July 1 of 95. So they're actually eligible to capture incremental assessed value from homesteads, where all of your other allocation areas, that is not possible. So it has long been the policy determination of this body to pass through that eligible incremental assessed value in Morrison Road. And last year we quantified that impact, and that's a more complicated tasking to dive into the actual impacts on a look forward basis because of the composition and the nature of the data. But last year you passed through approximately $11.8 million in incremental assessed value from homesteads that would have generated about $357,000 in tax increment revenues. Now, I do want to note, and one of the things as you're evaluating these determinations is just to remind you a little bit about the interplay of TIF with the property tax levies, rates, and assessed values of overlapping taxing units. Because we have the levy controls here in Indiana, that doesn't mean that $357,000 in Morrison Road or the $15,000 in Biovision Ag Park, that's $357,000 of new dollars that then flow through to the overlapping taxing units. What would effectively happen is if you pass through that assessed value, what that's doing is that's spreading their controlled levies over a wider base and putting downward pressure on tax rates. For Biovision, it wouldn't even be a penny because it's so small in each of the taxing units. In Morrison Road, it ranges from about a penny in the Hamilton Township Muncie Sanitary District taxing district to about 9 cents in Harrison Township Muncie Sanitary, and about 10 cents in the Muncie, the taxing districts that are located within the city of Muncie. So it ranges. It would have impact on taxpayers. We can't predict exactly what that impact would be because this is part of a soup, and you're being asked to make this determination about 2027 now, when 2027 assessed values aren't even going to get rolled to the auditor's office until next month. So that's an editorializing on my part. I've long hoped that the calendar would be amended, but that's where you're at today. If you continue to pass through the assessed value in Morrison Road, we're still estimating that you would have more than enough revenue to fully service your 2 bond issues out there and have money left over to pursue other pay-as-you-go projects. All of your other allocation areas, you've long captured 100% of eligible incremental assessed value and deployed that revenue to either pay debt service obligations such as out in PRL or Park 1, or to just do pay-as-you-go projects. You don't have to borrow for everything. So you've been in the fortunate position there. Happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Just some explanation. I wanted to bring this up with Matt because as long as I have been on this commission, these pass-through determination letters, I can't say that word today, have not come before us. They've just gone to the president, and that hasn't always been me when I've been on this commission, and I thought it needed to come before the commission to make the determinations. And we had a call with Matt and other members from Baker Tilly to determine what the impact would be, and he just assessed that. So to be clear, if we choose to capture this instead of passing it through like we have had in the past, it's not like it will take away the $357,000 or $15,000 to $16,000 for those 2 different areas. And in my personal opinion, I understand I'm one of 4 today. My personal opinion is we can have more impact for the taxpayers by not passing these through than we can by saving a penny. I'm happy to take any other questions or opinions.
Matt, when you say 1 cent, I believe in the Eaton Ag Park, or 9 cents in the Morrison Road, is that per what?
That's on the tax rate per $100 of assessed value. So it's going to be a blip for Biovision. For Morrison Road, it really depends on the taxing district that the taxpayers are located in terms of how they would be affected by that assessed value not being passed through. Because, some of those taxing districts have a lot of assessed value, so the effect of the pass-through is more minimal, and that's why you see just like a penny change in Hamilton Sanitary. But then Harrison Sanitary, there's a lot more TIF assessed value there, plus it's a smaller taxing district overall, so it has kind of an outsized effect on it.
Just 1 cent per $100.
Per $100 of assessed value, and then in Harrison Sanitary, it's 9 cents per $100 of assessed value. So, and it just depends on the kind of taxpayer that you're looking at in terms of how that flows to their tax bill. And I will also, one thing I did talk about last time I was here, in Morrison Road with the homesteads, that's going to get less and less each year. because of the new deduction regime for homesteads pursuant to SEA 1 that was passed last year. So this becomes less and less impactful each year because of that dynamic that's outside of your control.
Thank you.
No questions.
Danielle, we need action taken on approving.
We do, because today Gina's gonna send out she has 2 sets of letters, either one where you are passing through or one where you're not, and those need to go out today.
My thought is that we continue with historical behavior for this year, and because of the deadline being imminent, and then reevaluate for next year. This body would reevaluate for next year. Try to get ahead of it in March, say, as opposed to June.
I mean, I'm gonna push back on that a little bit. The determination is, I mean, we're still ready to meet the deadline. I have signed all of the other ones
Okay.
that we do pass through, and the auditor's office is aware of this being on the agenda today and is prepared to get them uploaded in time. My concern with waiting is, as Matt said, we stand to lose more next year and in the following years because of the homestead structure that's going to start applying with SEA 1. So that's my personal opinion.
I do now have a question for Matt. Thanks for being here today. Appreciate the presentation. What are other redevelopment commissions starting to do that traditionally passed them through based on the changes in Senate Rolled Act number 1 and other laws?
I haven't, for this cycle, I haven't really seen a change in behavior around the state from how they've traditionally operated. I'm having a lot more of these types of conversations with other redevelopment commissions and county commissioners and mayors. But this year, everyone's kind of holding status quo unless they've got other extenuating circumstances. What I see a lot more of now is when you're negotiating incentives with new companies centered on TIF, trying to pass through from the jump. But in terms of older, more established allocation areas, such as what you've got, people have been holding to their historical norms and then just keeping a closer eye on that TIF interaction as those new deductions phase in to see if TIF can be leveraged more strategically to help offset some of the pain that really you're not going to see as much next year as you are in the out years.
Yeah.
In all other districts, this is the only 2 we're passing through.
These are the only 2 that you pass through in, yes.
So these districts are receiving the benefit then of say the 911 upgrade that we funded this year are funded by the other districts, whereas this one is not.
Yeah, that's one way to look at it. Yeah.
And it's less than 0.1%.
In the one taxing district, yes.
Even
Or in the one allocation area.
So from a timing perspective, to address Mr. Wiggly's concern, if we desire to capture, we can still meet the deadline.
Yeah, you need to act today, to Gina's point, one way or the other. And what we can also do and offer, I think part of what you were talking about is, as we approach the preparation of the big TIF report next year, we can illustrate the pass through a little more intentionally for you to evaluate in advance of that deadline next year as you're looking at 2028. But for 2027, you really need to have the action today. Those letters need to get in the mail, and the auditor's office needs to get them uploaded all by Monday.
Make the motion, we treat these TIF districts as we do the other districts, which is no pass-through for both the Morrison Road and the Biovision Ag Park.
I'll second.
Roll call, please, Gina.
Mr. Keesling,
Yes.
Commissioner Brand,
Yes.
Mr. Wiggerly,
No.
Ms. Green.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Matt.
Next on the agenda is America's Hometown Band request. Roger?
Yes, my name is Roger McConnell. I'm a musician, and my latest campaign is MMMMM. I was going to add an A to it, but I chose not. It's the plan is to make Metropolitan Muncie more musical, and the goal is to spread our musicality, our actual performance into the county, and we have scheduled a program at Yorktown Square with Kat Blagenberger. The first date was Tuesday, and Larry McWilliams, who was with me last time I was here, he made the decision that shouldn't gamble the rain, so we're going to do that in August now. We have a second program on July 31st that Steve Hall has agreed to host at Albany, and also the other Albany supporter is our legal counsel, Steve Murphy, and they are, Steve happens to be away the whole month of June, and he's not with me this morning, but with my finance team, and Steve being the development director, we have Bill Hughes and Van Nelson and our president of the band, Dr. Charles Ruth. And they are encouraging me, along with my return visit here from last fall, which I made a request and filed an invoice for 2 concerts, which was $10,000. And I want to renew that request today. And I'd be happy to speak to the point that we are making a very strong effort to be educational as well as entertaining. And that's why we support a jazz program, and the handouts that I gave you, we do other things too besides dance band, and we have an outreach program by George Wolf, my associate at Ball State for such a long time, but he has agreed to do senior citizens programs, lots of private programs for the library, which have been financially supporting us. And also, I must say, my other strong associate, a librarian from Ball State, Donna Brown, helped prepare a grant request. And in specific, the grant request that was successful recently was that of the Community Foundation of Muncie and Delaware County. They are indeed sponsoring a program. We have other programs that have had support. The city of Muncie with Mayor Dan has been very encouraging, but he had a little bit of a financial setback this year, and we all wish him well in recovering from his health things too. I have lots of sympathy for that because I've been through some of the same things. But anyway, we have not been successful. The George and Francis Ball, they chose to put all their money this year into health projects, and I've made the case that we are a health project. I am here at the grace of not only Dr. Ruth, my doctor, but Ball Memorial Hospital has guided me through many strong encounters. And so I am here now. I hope to shore up. I am obviously ending my career here so shortly. I did 51 years at Ball State, and we're very proud to have that opportunity. I had the largest marching band. At times I thought I was at Purdue. We had our largest one was 375, and now my claim to fame is the director of assistant director at Purdue, a very strong community person for many years, and lived in Muncie. Doug was our Fletcher was our guest conductor last year at the 4th of July and is coming back for a return engagement this year as well at Menetrista. I have sympathy for all of the entities that are 501c3s. I really appreciate the fact that you folks are willing to hear my case. The invitation from Steve Brand is very valued, and I appreciate the opportunity to discuss and invite any questions that you might have. We're in our second year of a shortfall, and we hope that we can balance the books out this year with your support.
Thank you, Roger. I believe last year this commission asked if there would be concerts outside of Muncie. And I think the Albany partnership speaks to that. Yorktown as a town receives incredible amount of funding through this commission. So I don't have the same appetite to support in Yorktown as I do in Albany. I'm happy to make the motion to support the Albany concert amount of 5,000. So we probably Bell Perch too for balances.
Yeah, I was just looking at that. Bell Perch would be fine. Also, the Magna TIF bond might be a better choice right now.
That was a motion, correct?
That's a motion for 5,000 for the Albany concert.
A second.
Right. Does anybody have any other questions or discussion before we call roll? Roll call, please, Gina.
Mr. Gieson,
Yes.
Commissioner Brand,
Yes.
Mr. Wiggerly,
Yes.
Ms. Green.
Yes.
Mr. McConnell, have you asked Destination Muncie for support? The travel and tourism group, they receive a significant amount of tax revenue for that specific purpose to try.
I would be happy to do. I have not done so. I'd be happy to do so.
Yeah, I would encourage you to reach out to Destination Muncie. The president of that board or that body is Jared
Right.
Walls. I will send you his contact
Oh,
information.
super.
Yep.
Super.
Yep. Congratulations.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is the Innovation Connector a request? Good morning, Ted.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for allowing me to be here this morning. I'm Ted Baker, CEO of the Muncie Innovation Connector. I just want to let you know that I am so proud of our organization and all the things that we are doing for our community. We literally are the largest entrepreneurial support organization in East Central Indiana. The center itself, we call a hub, but our work goes well beyond the four walls of our building. And so the work goes well beyond the scope of what we do in our building. Last year was a record year for a number of clients that we served, entrepreneurs and businesses. Over 2,000 that we have had visit with and helped in some way. We've seen business starts. We've seen one of the things that we're trying to do is strengthen our county businesses, so we go way outside of the city. One area that we're particularly interested in, and I really take heart to this, is called the Silver Tsunami, and it has to do with hair color, but we are seeing a loss of existing companies from business owners who have been business owners for a long time, and they're getting ready to retire with nothing to take their place. Yep. And the state of Indiana is very, very serious about dealing with this matter. And so we've been working really hard with our local entities and business owners and buyers to see to it that businesses that are here, the owner wants to leave, we are helping them transition. And I just helped one business here in Delaware County this past week who was going to close and actually did, but we helped that organization find a buyer. And so that building and facility will still stay on the tax rolls. How about that? And the business will continue. So we're really excited about helping in those areas. A lot of people just don't know what to do. So along that lines, we love to serve our community with celebrations. Last year, At the Innovation Connector, we hosted what we call Business Showcase Week, which was part of Global Entrepreneurship Week, which is I think there's like 220 countries that participate in it during the week before Thanksgiving. And I'm proud to say that the Innovation Connector and our community, we hosted 71 events during Global Entrepreneurship Week, which was the largest number of events by any organization globally. Just a little old Muncie, that's what we do, right? And so we blew it out of the park. So many people helped and such. So we're going to continue. We're not going to try to break that record anymore. When you're number one, you got a status, but we're not going to try to keep that. I'm here to request your support to continue our work because we are growing. And we want to continue to meet the needs of our community. I'm requesting some funding for the upcoming year for $75,000 to help us meet some shortfalls that we have. Our building is 20 years old, right? Just at 20 years old. And, there are roofers over there right now replacing some parts of the roof, air conditioning units that we've had to replace. Capital expenses are eating us. I mean, even though we try to plan for that, those aren't the fun things that you like to spend money on. So I'm just here requesting for help from this organization and to make sure that we can continue the work that we're doing. I take very seriously the taxpayers' money. And so we are very accountable. We, continue keeping good records and such, but we don't spend money wastefully. And our efforts are into the clients that we have in our community. And just for you to know, I belong to an international organization for incubators and such. And our operations are probably, we have the thinnest, smallest staff for what we do than any other organization that I know. So we aren't top heavy at all. And we know that the majority of our funds goes into programs and helping out our clients. So requesting these funds. And then before questions, I just want to make sure that you know that next Wednesday, we are celebrating what we call Muncie the Entrepreneurial. And it is a celebration of the entrepreneurial spirit in our community. And this is our whole community. And I'd like to invite everyone over. It's a free event at the Innovation Connector, sponsored by Prime Trust, which is we're so grateful for them to step up with this, and our board of directors. It's going to be a free dinner, a meal, hot dogs and hamburgers, and the best elephant ears you can ever get anywhere. It's free to come. And we just want to celebrate the good things that happen here in Muncie. So anybody knows me, I like to celebrate. And, America is really a 250-year startup in a way. It was one of the best startups we've ever had. And it's not been just because of history, it's because people, entrepreneurs, innovators have made this country. So we want to celebrate that. So we have brochures, I'll put them out on the table, but it's free. So I'm not really trying to plug anything other than provide something for our community. And so if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer.
This is an increase in ask from prior years, right?
Yeah, and it just really is to help us cover some of the things that we're having to really do right now with some of the building needs. And we also this year were able to, at the end of last year, we added Mr. Frank Scott II as our executive director, preparing for my sometime in the future, me retiring sometime. And so he's our succession plan, which is working out great. So we're planning ahead, but so we've had some added costs with that too.
Is the Innovation Connector full right now?
We have 2 empty offices, and that is okay. I always like to have a little bit of inventory. We had 2 other offices that were open, and we just recently leased those out. I mean, we really are focusing on not just having people in the building, but the right people in the building. And we do have a couple of resources like the Schaefer Leadership Academy and such, but that only supports the infrastructure and the ecosystem of what we do. And we're starting to see more and more what we'd call tech-focused or tech-oriented businesses that we've been dealing with. And one exciting one that's getting ready to come in is a company that is leading the way in actual AI development in the business sector. And so we're really excited about that. So those are the things that we are really, really looking for, not just having the building full, which is important for rent and such, but it's also having the right clients there. So,
Provided that it were full, would it be self-sustaining financially?
and that it was never designed that way. Unfortunately, I came in after it was built. It needs to be about twice as big as it is so it can be self-sustaining with rent. And we do have on the table and working with the EDA right now on possible funding to increase the size of our building, which we already have on the horizon, hopefully someday. Once that is built, it will be more sustaining. The other good thing is the next session for the legislative session in 2027, we are asking, and I'm part of a group that we're a certified technology park in our area, certified a long time ago, but we're asking for some increase in funding from the state, which looks pretty positive this time. And so that will reduce a lot of what the local requests are. And also, I am continually searching, and Frank knows this, of ways to generate revenue streams outside of having to come here or to go just even to grants. And so we're getting better about that. And it looks like 2027 already looks very positive with that.
Does the city contribute or any of the towns?
Yeah, the city does contribute, and it varies based on what is available. This year, I believe the mayor it was probably at the end of last year, gave us, I think, $43,000, somewhere in that area. And in the past, he's given us up to $100,000 to help support the cause and such. No other community, no other city or town contributes at this time.
So my memory when I first joined the commission, the contribution from this body was about 25,000 in 2022. Carrie, John, you may recall, and an increase to 75,000, which is the ask for this year, is a lot of food on the table.
Sure.
And I understand there's capital needs, but there's also been some operational decisions that have increased the spend. It's a neat facility. I will just say it. I'm really struggling with when I first entered, the Innovation Connector was 2008, and my understanding of it, how it was sold to the community, was to start businesses and launch them and to get them out. And frankly, there's multiple entities that have been in there since 2008, and that lack of turnover concerns me. And I understand there's a need and a want for stable rent, but if those folks, they get an incredible amount of services in addition to the rent, that makes it very hard for me to justify any tax dollars for this year.
Sure.
That's just where and I'm one vote.
That's a great concern. First of all, we aren't a forever home. We do have some people who are there longer. And a lot of the times we have one long-term client that's been there quite some time, but he's reinvented his business 3 times since he's been there. So there kind of been starts throughout that. But I really want to make it really clear, with the limited number of offices that we have and bringing startups in, which we do that all the time. We go way beyond our facility. So our impact as a hub, that's where we see most of the business starts coming. And so a lot of times an incubator work has changed. A lot of these startups are 1, 2, 3 people, may not be able to afford an actual office, and especially in this environment when a lot of things can be done online and such. But we're seeing multiple starts every month and every year from businesses that we work with outside our 4 walls. And that is really where the biggest impact has come. It's really from outside our 4 walls. And we provide those same services to people outside as they do inside. So we are working very hard on that. The other thing is incubation has changed. I mean, we've done some things internationally, bringing in companies and helping support them. And then also we work very, very hard to help existing businesses too, because we have the knowledge and resources to help existing businesses. And we think that's really important too, because we can get them here, but if we can't keep them here, and we know since COVID, just kind of as a benchmark, we've seen an unprecedented number of existing businesses come to us for some sort of help. And basically, I don't know what I'm doing, basically. So anyway, so we're helping them, but I understand your concern, and we take that very seriously. But again, a lot of our work is outside our building.
I have a question for you, Ted.
Okay.
There is, I think we established that there's an increase in $25,000 from your ask last year. Has there been an increase in rent from last year to this year to your tenants?
We are in the second year of so we increased rent the year before last. And right now we don't have anything on the books. We're still looking at 27 for that. And just to be honest, we're way above market rate. I mean, so our office space and our lease, I mean, we're way above market rate currently. So we're not giving anybody a good deal necessarily because of the services that they get around that. But we are considering looking at 2027, and we have until, like, I think it was October 30th to come up with that plan. So we're evaluating costs and such like that. But just like everybody else, we've seen those increases. Good question. And to cover that a little bit more, if we do have some existing businesses in the facility, they're easier. They handle the increase in rent more than a company or a person who's starting a business there. So that gives us that opportunity.
I think one of the concerns that I share with Mr. Kiesling is the same thing, and I think we brought this up last year as well. The long-term tenants do give me pause. Just knowing that there has been tenants in there for 8, 10, 15 years when it is supposed to be a launching pad, so to speak. Sure. That gives me concern. And I think any of you on the commission can correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure when you came to us last year, we asked for financials to follow up, and I don't believe we received those.
If they were requested, I can't imagine me not sending them, but I will be more than happy to provide any financials. We have those are readily available. And about the number of long-term clients there, we do something very unique in our industry, and that is our leases, even though we offer present a year lease, if by chance that we have a couple of clients coming in, they desperately need office space, and we can help them with that, and it's the type of client we want, we can give any client in our facility 30 days notice and they have to exit. So that's built in to that whole formula. So if there was a demand for a startup or some new company coming in, and we have already asked several companies to exit because of that. And so we're trying to keep that churn. And really the percentages, I think we only have 2 clients there that have been there more than 3 years. And usually the cycle is between 3 and 5 years, somewhere in there. So most of our clients are fresh. And we do like the turnover because I like the inventory to be able to bring new people in. So, but that's a good concern.
I now have a follow-up question. I appreciate the detailed report and information you gave us. I'm looking at your current board members. You have 10. So does that mean you are needing a board member right now to get to an odd number, or you have one too many, or?
We can have up to 15 by our bylaws. And yes, our board is actively considering some other members. Well, I mean, that's always a consideration. And plus, we have some board members who more than likely will be exiting in the next year. So that's an ongoing process.
Yeah. You said the board's actively looking for people with business experience.
Yeah, and all types of experience. What my perspective is, I would love to get some additional entrepreneurs on there, some people who have started business and grown businesses and such. And our board, as you can see, is I'd consider kind of top heavy. They are very experienced business people, and they're a great resource for us, for me as we grow this. But I'm always interested in entrepreneurs, and like we just added recently, or in the last number of months, we added Bernice Elliott, who has several businesses, and she's a great example of the type of entrepreneur that we want, who understands what it is to make payroll. And so she's one of our newer members. And most of these people have owned businesses or operated a business at some time or the other, or been involved in business development. And please feel free, my number's on there. If you have any other questions throughout the time period, you want to come and visit and sit down and talk, we're an open book. We have nothing to hide.
Anyone have a motion?
I'll make a motion that we approve the $75,000 request.
Do we have a second? I don't hear a second on that motion currently. Does action need to be taken, Danielle? Okay.
Watching our Commissioner Brand here. I thought you were
Go
reading your
ahead.
notes and making
I
a
am,
comment.
I am reading notes. Go ahead.
I'm interested in tabling, but I'm not interested in the 75,000. Again, for me, I can think of four clients offhand who have been there for as long as I can remember. And you know, it's a significant increase, and one of the previous was about the state funding with anticipation of that, which hasn't occurred. So my motion is to decline the request.
I'll second.
Motion and a second. Roll call, please. Danielle. Not Danielle, Gina. Sorry.
Mr. Keesler,
Yes.
Commissioner Brown,
No.
Mr. Waverly,
No.
Ms. Green.
No.
Not at 75. We're not at 0. Someone else have a motion.
I also would like to see some folks spread their wings and either flourish or fail. Business I came from, you failed fast and learned from it and restructured. I also believe that wait until 2027 to raise your rent is too late. This should be focused and be a self-sustaining. You made a comment about expanding it, doubling the size, and it would almost get you to self-sustaining. I believe that that's necessary. You know, I'm all for innovation. I'm all for entrepreneurs and small business that makes up the majority of our economy. And I've had them and I failed, you know, and I learned a lot from
Me
it.
too.
But I would make a motion to sustain the same level that we did in the previous year, with a strong caution that you might not get it next year.
Okay, I'd appreciate that.
50,000. And it would be paid from half from Magna TIF and half from Morrison.
I'll second the motion.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Keesler,
No.
Commissioner Brown,
Yes.
Mr. Waverly,
Yes.
Ms. Green.
No. I'm sorry. I will clarify because I know that because we are missing Commissioner Henry. I would like to see 25 financials and raised rent and then assess and potentially give 25 again later. That's my personal opinion.
Are you making a motion or are you making a request?
Can I make that motion?
President can make a motion.
absolutely.
then that would be my motion. I would like to see 25 currently, an increase in rent and financials, and then reassess the other 25 later in the year.
So we can't have the financials before we would take a roll call vote today.
Right, but before we would potentially see,
Are you, I want to clarify, are you saying give them 25 today and then ask them for the financials, an increase in rent, and then assess if the other 25 is necessary? Or are you saying the first 25 is contingent on the first two items?
no, the second 25 is contingent on the requested items.
No, I'm super confused. So your motion is to approve 25,000 today, get the financials and consider an additional 25,000.
Get the financials and a requested raise in rent.
But your motion is to approve 25,000 today.
Yes.
A second. With the same half of it coming from Magnetif and half of it coming from Morrison.
Roll call.
Mr. Kiesling,
No.
Commissioner Brand,
Yes.
Mr. Wiggley,
Yes.
Ms. Green.
Yes.
So we'll see you back next month.
Okay, and I'll make sure you have all the financials.
Thank you. I appreciate
Should I
that.
just send them to you, Amber?
Send them to me and Gina
Okay,
as well,
we'll
please.
do that. Thank you very much for your consideration. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next is resolution number 2026-010.
This resolution is following up on the Mower Max boom mower that was pledged last month. So the allocation areas that it is coming from is PRL, Fountain Square, and Midwest Metal. The total amount was $267,418.62. And this is to the Highway Department.
This is something we've already approved. This is just approving the
Yeah,
resolution.
just a
for our funding.
reminder, this isn't fully funding that piece of equipment. The highway department put $50-some thousand in to go towards this. And just, I'm kind of putting them on the spot. Do we have an estimated delivery date for this unit? Not yet.
Maybe
6 weeks from now. Motion to approve resolution 2026-10.
Second.
Okay, roll call, please.
Mr. Kiesling,
Yes.
Commissioner Brand,
Yes.
Mr. Wiggley,
Yes.
Ms. Green.
Yes. Resolution number 2026-11 is rescinding the remaining money for the Muncie Delaware County Senior Citizen Center.
So one thing that Gina and I are trying to do is make sure there's a paper trail to better track what is pledged and then projects that do not move forward. So the senior citizens, or the senior center, that project is not moving forward with the pledge that was originally done for them. It was a $30,000 pledge, and there is $24,605.88 remaining on that. That is not going to be utilized. So we are rescinding the remaining amount that has not been utilized. So this is just to clean up the record keeping and make sure that we can track what we've been doing.
And to be clear, this is at the request of the executive director of the Senior Citizen Center, Julie Mearns. So she sent an email saying the BZA approved our zoning exception last night, and our closing date for the sale on our building is set for June 18th. With that said, we will be withdrawing from the pledge. So this is a voluntary withdrawal.
Correct.
Yeah, we're not
And-
just taking it away.
And also for the record, this was Industrious Center, Morrison Road, and Midwest Metal, and PRL, New Bravini, all of those allocation areas.
So we'll need to update the upstanding project obligation sheet.
That's another reason why we're doing this, to make sure that when
Yep.
she's tracking, she's got all the information up to date.
Thank you. Motion to approve.
So moved. I'll second. Thank you, Mr. Wickerman.
Sure, pardon me.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Kiesling,
Yes.
Commissioner Brand,
Yes.
Mr. Wiggley,
Yes.
Ms. Green.
Yes. And resolution rescinding Living Green Farms Economic Development Agreement.
Okay, this is the same idea of making sure we're tracking what's going on. But I want to make sure that the commission understands this is distinct from the bond that is still in place. So this is rescinding any kind of pledge or economic development agreement with Living Green. It's actually LGF Properties Muncie LLC. That was the name of the entity that we had discussed an economic development agreement with. Our office was not able to find an actual signed economic development agreement. We tried to go back through all of the records from 2021. So I'm not sure that one was actually executed. If there was, this is covering us to say that that is rescinded. But there was in the minutes a pledge of $1 million toward the structural repairs toward that project. Now that the building purpose has changed, this is no longer needed, but this resolution does clarify that some funds were utilized at the beginning of that pledge to do those repairs, but the vast majority of that pledge is still remaining. So this is rescinding any potential pledge or economic development agreement that was in place at that time.
And it's primarily due to the change in the use of the building as well as
Correct.
change in the
Exactly.
occupancy.
Yep.
Move approve.
I'll second with the additional information that there was a mutual agreement. There was a legal challenge on this building between Delaware County and Garmong due to the structural steel, and that was mutually agreed to terminate that.
Correct.
And so there's no need to keep this reserve.
Correct.
Yeah, I seconded it.
Roll call, please. Mr. Kiesling.
Yes.
Commissioner Brand.
Yes.
Mr. Wiggily.
Yes.
Ms. Green.
Yes. Okay, and before we move on to tabled business, I would like to add something to the agenda. This was sent in an email last night. Commissioner Brand, I'll let you speak to this, but it is a request from the Highway Department that got lost in email. So I'd like to add that to the agenda before we move to tabled business.
Yep. So I believe Dean Thomas, county engineer, is going to come up and present. There was an email sent to the Delaware County email addresses for this board, but it wasn't. That was sent last Friday, not just last Friday, actually the Friday before, I believe. Yeah.
Thank you.
Dean?
Okay, my name is Dean Thomas. I'm a Delaware County engineer. So we have come today to request, I'll start with a little bit of backstory. So historically, Delaware County has been able to pave a certain number of roads every year, which is less than the amount that we have that need paved. So the list just continually keeps getting longer and longer for the list to do. This year, we're able to do all of the stuff that we had previously planned, but the stuff we had planned for 2026 we're unable to get to due to funding. So the total pot we typically have is roughly 1.4 million from a couple different funds. It's roughly 600,000 of that goes to chip and seal. The other 800,000 goes to paving. We are currently we've currently used about notes. We have $350,000 left in our paving budget, and we need roughly $310,000 to finish paving what's on our list, which leaves us with $40,000 for miscellaneous repairs this year that pop up, which always happens every year. Something blows up or something is deemed an emergency. So we are looking for, like I say, the sheet you have in front of you has $620,000 or $620,939.42. And this would get everything caught up to basically our current 5-year plan. We would be back on track. And something to note is on the 4th column, there's a title called Paiser rating. So it's a 1 to 10 scale. All of these roads are 3s and under, which are failed, very poor, and poor. So these are the roads that we deemed need the most attention. Think anything else? that's basically the summary I have. Is there anybody that has any questions or comments? Yeah.
I'll add a little bit of commentary to that. A couple things that have exacerbated this list getting kicked down the road year over year is we have some unexpected emergencies that arise most springs. I think last year we had an early spring and we had to do some reconstruction of Bell Creek and a couple of other roads that were not anticipated. So we have to push things down the list, and this request is to catch us up. And you can see in the PACER rating column there, which we are switching from the PACER rating to doing our own in-house rating system going forward, but this gets us caught up. So as you know, there are reasons why things get kicked down the road, unexpected, unplanned. We also have some, I want to use the right word here. I'll just say trucking companies that often use our county roads as shortcuts, and they're not constructed to carry those loads. Triaxle dump trucks, quad axle dump trucks, cement trucks, you know, and I appreciate the projects being done in our county, but they need to take the roads that are designed and intended for that. And, you know, local drivers know the shortcuts and they take them and then they tear up our roads. So that's a little bit of why these things get kicked down the road.
When you say that you have 310,000 left to finish, just for clarification, is that to finish 2025, or is this kind of like a hodgepodge of 23, 24, 25?
So basically everything that was up until this year's planned paving will be finished with that 310,000, which leaves us 40,000 left for miscellaneous whatever. Everything that you have in front of you is what was planned for 2026,
Okay.
and we're unable to get to due to funding. So something else to note is we're also doing 4 other roads through our CCMG program, which has been very, very good for us. So
Do you anticipate a shortfall like this in 2027 as well?
So our plan moving forward is to keep everything on track. Obviously, providing we don't have a huge blow up of a road or something that's unanticipated. But moving forward, we'd like to stay on track, and then we also want to increase the PASER ratings. We'll be doing our own, but it's the equivalent. Because the better the roads get, we can start doing more maintenance and less catch up. We can actually stay on top of them with cheaper treatments. So.
Another thing we're doing is chip and seals, a traditional preventive maintenance process to overlay a road that was paved and is alligator cracking or whatever. We're no longer going to leave roads chip and sealed. We're going to fog seal both directions, and that hopefully will extend the life 2 or 3 years. To Mr. Thomas's comment, we're trying to get out of reactive mode and into proactive mode so we can do more proactive work and quit doing so much preventive maintenance. It seems like we get bogged down with these catch-ups and preventive maintenance stuff, and we need to be more proactive.
Do we have any bridges that are going to come to us later this year, or are we okay there?
So I'm not going to say that there's not.
Yes, there will be.
There you go.
Yeah,
I mean, we just
you gotta be
approved
realistic
I
about it.
appreciate
I mean-
the caution.
Yeah.
I mean, we just approved a mower max for $270,000, but you know, maintenance to our roads is absolutely critical. And
We
it
do
gets us caught
appreciate-
up. I'm just worried about next year with the gas tax suspension.
That was
Okay.
why
that's,
I
that's
asked.
my
I'm-
biggest concern.
We do
is-
appreciate the partnership. We realize that we're a continuous one in here asking, but at the same time, we have a lot of infrastructure, and you know, the last 50 years, a lot of that's been not necessarily maintained how it should be. So
Yeah, I mean, we have 760 miles of road in the county compared to 250 or 260 in the city.
You said 760. Is that lane miles or
that's total miles. So lane miles is double.
It's
double that?
Yeah.
And so this is 9.9 miles. This is very small. And
Yeah.
again, it's the thing we notice the most is our roads. So
Yep.
I know this would be spread across multiple TIFs.
It's all across the county too. So
Yeah.
I'll make the motion to approve the $620,939.42 to the Highway Department for the road paving list as provided.
And I'll second to come out of the following TIFs: Magna TIF, Morrison, Midwest Metal, Progress Rail, and Fountain Square. And I think we might, I've been tracking this new Bravini, and I think that's coming up because of
gosh darn it, I'm drawing a total blank out there. Muncie Power Products is starting to come on out there, so we may be able to start drawing out of that in the future.
Was Fountain Square the last one you said?
Yes.
Thank you.
Roll call, please. Mr. Keesling.
Yes.
Commissioner Brand.
Yes.
Mr. Ridgely.
Yes.
Ms. Green.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I appreciate the big font too, Dean.
That helped.
Well, like I say, I'll remember that for future meetings.
Now moving on to tabled business 10A, the EDA 2026 redevelopment services.
Motion to remove from the table.
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, thank you, Tracy.
Good morning. I'm Tracy Lutton with the Economic Development Alliance of Muncie and Delaware County. We provide staff support to the Redevelopment Commission. We've had a good partnership with the commission for the last year. In short, we are committed to provide administrative and governance support, project management and financial oversight, stakeholder engagement, communication, and participation in strategic initiatives. So as you know, we hired Gina Caravaglia to join our team a year ago. She's been performing these duties with assistance from Alliance staff as she's learned her position. Last month, she provided an overview of her accomplishments and some of the work that she's been doing over the last year. And at that time, we submitted a proposal to continue this partnership, this providing of administrative services, but we proposed a term of 19 months, and we heard feedback from the commission that you would be more comfortable with an agreement that only extends through the end of 2026, as you don't want to make decisions or commitments that affect maybe any newly appointed commission members next year. We also recognize a desire to get on a calendar year, so we have revised our proposal to extend through the end of 2026. As part of that proposal, we commit to providing a budget to justify the expense that we're asking the commission to cover. So the budget that we have before you was adjusted. I mentioned last month that we removed any expenses that we consider to be startup, any costs that we may have overestimated. We also removed some things that we felt as an organization that we could absorb on our own. So, for example, rent for Gina's part of the office. We're not asking the commission to cover that. And then, so that total for the scope of services would cost $44,371. But another commitment we made to the commission is that if we saw a surplus of costs from this first year that we've worked together, that we would provide a credit. So after looking and making adjustments, we have $16,000 from this previous year that we're applying to the current request. So the total request today is $28,371, and that will extend our services through the end of 2026.
Any questions for Tracy?
So I'd like to continue through the end of the year. To be clear on that. My biggest concern is the percent of the budget that goes to professional development. I think we're 20% almost going towards professional development, which is a bit. I also believe there's a need for some of that.
Yeah.
So I would almost be, and I was looking it up, be willing to go with all the above, but modifying the professional development line item down to the in-state conferences and one is a redevelopment commission meeting, one is economic development, I believe, looks like Indiana of some sort.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's the OUEDI, which I strongly believe should be done in person, but also some can be done online. I don't know the order of operations there.
Yeah. So the professional development, the chunk of it is happening at the end of the year. So that's why it's in this part of the budget. The OUEDI is a training that we feel is really important for all of our staff members to attend. We're a small team, so cross-training is important. I want Gina to be as competent in her position as she possibly can. I want her to understand the holistic view of economic development, not just the piece of redevelopment. I want Gina to be able to take my job. So we really invest heavily in our staff. And so these costs for OUEDI are substantial, but it's something that we'll invest in now and then we will not have to do it anymore. So we see benefit in person. I don't like to send our folks to online training. I think there's a significant benefit from networking with other colleagues in the profession, people who are experienced and also getting their start. We also have another teammate who is going to go to the OUEDI conference in the fall, and we thought that Gina could benefit by attending with another coworker who has more experience. And so that's why that is in the budget. And of course, we will always try to find scholarships and other means of paying for this. But since those opportunities are not known yet or guaranteed, we did put it in the budget. So we're asking for an approval of the proposal today. If there are budgetary items that are questionable to you, we could go back and rework that, but we're really hoping to get an approval today. If we have a surplus, we're able to get that scholarship, then certainly you'll see that as a carry forward next year.
You said there's a second member of the.
There's a second member of the team attending this year. Yeah.
That changes
That
my,
we would
my
absorb
color on
our-
it a little bit, Tracy.
Yeah. And we would absorb that cost ourselves, certainly.
Does it change your color on it enough to amend your motion?
I haven't made a motion yet.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I was asking questions.
Okay,
I think having, I'm guessing it's probably Aaron, but I know
Yes,
that
that's correct.
it increases. Again, I see the development as a capacity. It's just, I'm still thinking, so I'll let others express their questions.
No questions. I would move we approve the recommendation from Tracy.
I'll second to come from the same TIF districts that the current economic development agreement comes from.
Agreed.
Roll call, please. Mr. Kiesling.
Yes.
Commissioner Brand.
Yes,
Mr. Wiggily.
Yes.
Ms. Green. Yes.
Thank you.
Thank
you're
you.
welcome. Thank you.
Right, and 10B, under table business, the Yorktown interlocal agreement and invoice. Do I have a motion to remove from the table?
So
Yes.
moved.
Second.
Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Good morning.
Good morning. My name's Chase Bruton. I'm town manager in Yorktown. I was asked to be here regarding the interlocal agreement related to the Oliver project. I can explain it if you'd like, or if you'd just like to start with some questions.
I would love to hear your explanation first.
I would love to give it since I wasn't here when it happened. So in 2020, there was some downtown development happening. The town partnered with this commission, with the Delaware County Commissioners, and with Yorktown's Redevelopment Commission to get this economic development agreement in place. The terms of it are 1.3 million was given the first year, that was in 2020, and then it was $300,000 every year after, for a total term of 10 years, which would be $4 million. That was to get that project off of the ground and to cover bond payments moving forward. My understanding of it is that the NEBO TIF was combined or essentially attached to some of our TIF districts to allow TIF funds to flow through there. I have some questions regarding if that has been occurring or if we have been getting paid out of edit. That's kind of where we're at right now. And so my understanding is that we did not invoice and receive a payment for last year. And so it threw up a flag with this commission that there was 2 payments due this year of $300,000 apiece. Did I sum that up pretty well? We went back and pulled all the numbers. I have all of the invoicing, all of the receipts, everything to my knowledge looks as the agreement states. Besides my question related to Is it supposed to be being paid out of TIF or edit? My theory is that when the jail project was occurring was around the same time, and my understanding is that edit funds were going to the jail project. I believe Yorktown at the time was willing to dedicate essentially our share of some of the edit funds in exchange for TIF funds on this Oliver building. That is my theory.
I've heard similar theories, Chase. I mean, I do know there were funds pledged from this commission to Morley County in some regards to Yorktown.
Correct. Yes.
I will say that the challenge before me is the catch-up payment amount. I do not know, and I not believe the Nebo Road TIF can support that this year.
Cannot.
We cannot. And I'm very much aware it's going to the Oliver building. I think this is one where, a timely invoice from the town would have helped.
Yeah.
And, I think it's more of a solve it later issue. I believe the funds are in place for the year one, or for 1 year, but not 2.
I can tell you that there's a little bit of a backstory on that. The Oliver building was sold, and so we had kind of like a regular operating schedule with the previous owner. And during that selling process, that ball kind of got dropped. And I will tell you that we are much happier now with the new owner. We had a lot of trouble with the last developer.
Who's paying the bond?
We make the payment.
Are you making the full payment, principal plus interest?
Yes.
Okay.
And I have receipts for that as well, or
Okay.
payments.
So yeah,
That's why I brought Mr. Lance Turner here as well, just in case.
I mean, the big issue is just how much money we have.
yeah. So we have an outstanding project obligation tracker. This was not on our radar. So when this showed up, not only were we not expecting the 300,000 for this year, let alone the 300,000 for last year.
I believe the reason it might not be on your project tracker is because it has been getting paid from edit rather than TIF. But that is, again, my theory. I haven't confirmed that.
You believe it's getting paid from the county's edit?
I believe so.
I don't.
Lance, can you attest to that at all?
Yeah, every time we get the check in for this amount, it has edit written on it.
Motion to recess.
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
I'm gonna go get my minutes.
Run out of a room before.
Running looks like when you're 58. Okay, so I don't see it in the edit plan. And we have a revised edit plan coming up. I'm hoping it's going to be on Monday's agenda, the 15th. The only thing I see in our edit plan is under project number 3. It's titled Towns, but it also includes Albany, Daleville, Eaton, Gaston, Selma, Yorktown, where the commissioners give $50,000 a year, and Yorktown's included in that.
We do receive that 50,000. Yes.
So this may now be a question for the auditor's office to see why the payment is labeled edit. But there is not a specific project in the edit plan to pay Yorktown anything other than what I just described.
They label it as economic edit.
That one at the top.
On his records, it says edit economic. That's just how the auditor's office labeled it to them.
Gotcha.
And I can provide copies of this.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So the towns received payment up until last year, so
Correct.
in 24, 23, 22, 21.
2020 was the original payment of
Okay, so-
1.3, and then 21, 22, 23, and 24, we have received the 300,000.
I think the
then
question,
5 and 6, we haven't received it.
I think the question for us, at least for me, is where's this paid from?
I have the same question.
I don't think the question of the obligation is there, and I personally think we should table this and give the auditor time to research.
I would be
and-
totally comfortable doing that if you'd like me to come back at another meeting.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Chase.
Yeah, motion to table and
Before we finalize the conversation, one action that did come out of this body from last month was the current interlocal agreement, which is from July the 6th of 2020. Thank you. Section 1, titled Duration, B, says this agreement shall automatically renew following the initial 10-year term for additional 1-year terms, known as renewal terms, unless terminated by either party pursuant to Section 4 below. And I believe that this body authorized a notice to be sent that that section would be void.
That is correct.
You
We
received
received,
that?
yes, it was sent to the Mount Pleasant Township trustee, which doesn't exist. But yes, we did receive it.
Okay. I just want to make sure. I'll second the motion to table. Actually, yeah, I'm going to second the motion to table with another question. Let's say we find out that this is being paid out of TIF, as it should, but we've already said that there's not enough money in the TIF to make the double payment. What would the town's reaction be if we approve the 300,000 for this year, but we tack the 300,000 from last year onto the end? Anyway, you don't have to answer right now,
I
but
don't.
if you can
Lance,
have that
we made our
answer.
full payment on this, correct? On the Oliver bond this year? No.
You haven't made it this year? Okay. Understand. Okay. That answers my question. All right. We have a motion and a
Motion
second to table.
All in favor of putting back on the table, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Thank you.
Thank you.
Did did we want to speak on the Park One water issue as well while I'm up here? I can go sit down and come back up. It's up to you.
He's already here.
Yeah, you're already here, so.
Okay, perfect. Do you want to back me up on any of this, or Dean? Yes? Okay, perfect.
You're on your own, Chase.
So just to give you a quick kind of history here is the new entrance into Park One is underway and under construction. During some digging and the start of that construction, there was found to be some water that was obviously coming off of our water system. And we did some exploratory digging. We did a lot of exploratory digging. And then we had 3D do some more exploratory digging with us. And we were not able to locate the leak. We have dug on both sides of 332 there. The water line, our best idea at this point is that the water line going to North Edge Steel, it has some sort of leak underneath 332 and in the casing. Would you like to add to that? So I spoke with the superintendent out there yesterday. They did a pressure test between hydrants and valves. They've isolated it to underneath, somewhere between the edge of 332 on both sides within the casing. Basically, they described it as it's just pouring out of that casing. The comment was also made by the superintendent that that casing is not up to current codes, which would make sense. Things were put in previous years that codes changed and everything. But his concern, because ideally you'd be able to pull out the water line out of the casing and reuse the casing. His concern is that you could not because it's tight already. The other thing is what's actually going on underneath the roadway, because we don't know. I mean, it could be something more than just the water line that's causing this issue. But we have talked with American Structure Point a little bit about some cost estimates. I guess this type of project could potentially, if we put a new casing in, be somewhere in the $850 a foot cost, which equates to roughly $85,000 for this section. And that's kind of the update I have as far as the information I've been given. So,
And just to be clear, Dean, you're saying casing, so there's a sleeve that runs under 332, and the water line is inside that sleeve.
yeah, sorry, I should have clarified a little bit. Yeah, I guess current casing is, I think he said somewhere around a 12. To be up to code would need to be a 16-inch casing. The pipe now would be, I think it's either a 10 or 12 to go within that. 12. But yeah, the casing basically protects the water line from anything that would happen over the top of it. So that is kind of common practice. I'm sorry I breezed over that. So.
Okay. So, Yorktown, you're going to fix it? What are you planning?
Yeah, I struggle on this one. We have been operating in the red in our water department for quite a long time. So we adjusted water rates about 2 years ago. On the next agenda, we have a water rate adjustment for Park One specifically, because Park One has been a complete and total money pit for our water department. We lose roughly $100,000 to $150,000 a year operating the Park One water system. It's not a profitable endeavor. Hindsight being 2020, I think the town would have chose not to be the water operator in Park One. So I have not had the 85,000 is over my spending limit, so I cannot speak to the council's choices on this. We weren't even aware of the issue until the project started. So I can go and talk to my council about it, but it's not a large enough leak that it's even showing up on our water loss audit to where it's like throwing up a red flag. My thought process of it is it's a rough decision to subsidize a Park One water system off the backs of rates of residential payers inside of the town.
And that line under 332, it only supplies North Edge right now?
Yes, sir. Well, and a small hydrant. Yeah.
And a small hydrant?
Yep. And North Edge is not having any water issues
Okay.
Over time, Dean, this will cause a problem, the 332, or no?
So that was brought up yesterday with American Structure Point. Right now it's not, but long term, yes, it could. I would think NDOT would probably take a little bit of a look into this just to make sure that it's not going to. Because yeah, that's pretty major as far as their stuff goes.
Yeah, you don't want a sinkhole forming
Yeah,
on 332.
my concern comes into the critical infrastructure into the county with 332.
And right now the casing is sending all the water basically out to the ditches. But if for some reason there is a leak in that casing, or if something's compromised that we don't know about, then yes, that could cause some issues with the actual roadway.
So I want to repeat what I think I just heard you say. There's a sleeve and the water casing's inside that, and the leak is in between the sleeve and the casing right now.
So right now it's the actual water line, which is within the larger casing. Yes, the casing, as far as we know, is fine,
Okay.
but we have nothing to base that off of other than the fact that water's pouring out of it. So.
I gotcha. Okay, so the reason this came up is we're doing the second entrance. The 3D's here. Mr. Case is here. Thank you for being here. And he has sent us a note saying, hey, the current water leak is causing subgrade issues and starting to cost 3D money. We currently can't get our trucks down to load out spoils and bring in stone. We can't finish the subgrade in the roadway due to the soft soils for the water leak. So that's why we're talking about it today, right? This is starting to impact the second entrance project. So Mr. Case, could you come up, please? Thank you again for being here,
Yeah, no problem.
Mr. Case. So, Mr. Bruton committed to going to his town council and socializing this and seeing what their appetite is to fund it in order to not delay the project. And I know the project has a couple of challenges with some materials that have been ordered for lighting and things like that are going to come later. But
Yes, sir.
up until this moment, we've been pretty much on track.
Yeah, we've done pretty well. A little rain here and there.
What are our options to continue this project that don't include Delaware County Redevelopment Commission replacing that water line under 332?
Well, so in theory, on the east side, the new road going in, we could go through there, put a subsurface drain there underneath the curb line, that stretch road. That should pick up all of the water that is leaking from the water main that's pushing through the dirt. There's a few sand banks out there, so I don't know if everybody knows that whole area was built up. Shores back in the day, we developed that whole area. So you got pockets of sand throughout all the dirt there.
So if we install a subsurface drain, take 5, 6, 7 days to dry it out after that, and then you should be able to resume.
We should be able to resume, and we should be able to not have to do the undercuts in that area if it dries out.
Okay.
And there is money in the project. There are some pay items that were put in for some undercuts. Those have not been used yet. So.
And we believe if we were to do that subsurface drain, it would fit within the financial confines of the
should.
project that was
Yeah,
already
because,
approved.
we eliminated a sanitary structure and some sanitary pipe already, so that picked up some money as well. Project.
So the subsurface drain though doesn't fix the underlying water
It does not
issue.
fix the underlying
So
water. It just allows the project to push forward while somebody figures out what to do with the water line.
what's the and I don't expect you to fully know, but what's a rough estimate on this?
I don't know what that pay item is. This is what the dollar amount is off the top of my head, but it's an existing pay item. So we
But
would raise
it stays within the existing
Project, yeah.
Contract.
project
I'm
approval
just
that we've
thinking,
already made.
yeah, we
Which
just-
sounds great. However, if we didn't have to do this, we would have saved even more money.
correct.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
Well,
I mean, there's,
I guess where I'm at is if we fix the draining, we still have the water issue versus we fix the water, we don't have the water issue
you
and
still
the
have a
drainage
water
issue.
issue. Now, fixing the water issue is probably going to take you a while because NDOT will probably want that to be a new jack and pour pipe. We're going to put a 16-inch steel casing in there, so you're going to get permits to jack and pour underneath the highway. And I'm going to assume it's going to be over $100 a foot myself, is what the numbers have been coming in. Jack and pours with NDOT projects. You can go to their website, look up, their average unit prices. I mean, this could be a costly fix for somebody to fix that water leak. And I don't know how much, I mean, it is leaking enough to where it's actually pushed back uphill and it came out on the top side of that hill through a sand vein. So, I mean, it is leaking enough to cause, it's causing subgrade issues. That's quite a ways away.
I have a question. if you do the subsurface drain and continue, like I'm trying to keep blinders on from redevelopment commission standpoint. If you do that and continue on with our project, regardless of what Yorktown chooses to do or not do, will that impact the project after it's completed?
No,
Could
it should not. No, because that line's right how far away? 60, 70 feet in the grass area. Yeah, so
So if you install the subsurface drain, you can still finish the Park 1 second entrance.
Yeah, and they won't disturb that entrance when they pull out or put a new line in, because there's enough area in between. The road
I mean,
and
I
the
hate to
side.
look at it that way, but this is our project. The water issue is a Yorktown issue, and I can't sit here and influence your council, nor do I want to. I want to get our project completed. That is my priority. I hate to say it this way, but the water's Yorktown issue.
Push back just a little bit on that, just because it is in a county TIF, so I think that there could be some. I would be open to a talk of some sort of partnership on this, but the only reason businesses out there right now are operating is because we've been taking a loss in our water department since we took over the water out there, which is why we're doing a rate study right now and going through. I mean, we're trying to make those steps to where it's I wouldn't say profitable endeavor, but not a loss. But it has been. Our revenues out there are about 55 grand a year in water revenue. That's this repair is, essentially 2 years worth of water revenue, and that doesn't cover any of our operating expenses.
To be clear, I'm not saying that I'm opposed
Right.
to having a conversation, but that's not our problem to solve today. Our problem to solve today is to keep the project on track.
Yes, ma'am.
In my opinion.
I agree.
That's why I said it the
Yes,
way. I'm
yep.
not saying don't ever come to the table again, Chase. I'm just saying that the priority now is to keep the project going.
Is there any flavor from the commission to possibly have this included in the project and Yorktown be a participating member on a change order?
Are you saying, so I think I understand what you're saying.
We have the people
Our-
out there that are already doing the construction, have them fix it, and we'll figure out some math on who's paying for what.
Is there a potential, I mean, Dean, Jacob, you might know that better. I mean, it's already open, so
So, yes, I'm just asking the question.
it's a good question.
Traffic, a lot of the traffic controls already up there. Obviously, they would need something for the westbound side, but you would be able to utilize some of the stuff that's already there. My concern is the permit from NDOT. I don't know if that's a 2-week process or if that's a 2-month process. But I think the biggest thing is, like I say, keeping the project going, and then hopefully if NDOT can get a permit turned around, then if everyone wanted to work together on this, or whoever pays for it, that could be a part of this as well. So I'll leave that out up to all of you.
So the town council hasn't been presented this project yet, this problem.
We just found the leak yesterday, so.
So presumably before the July meeting of this body, the town council will figure out how much of a priority this is for them. It's
I will
costing
bring it
them
up on
money to
Monday.
not fix it while they're potentially raising rates for the Park 1. And so I think again, 332's importance to the county
But
is where my brain goes. I agree with President Green's sentiment that we need to fix this through the existing project in terms of the drainage, but it's almost like ignoring a problem and sweeping it under the rug, quite literally. And
I agree.
I'd
I
like
mean,
to see where
we
the
don't want to
town's at.
ignore it. We just became aware of it, and that fund does not have an abundance of cash.
I mean, we found your leak for you, so I mean, you're welcome. But
So there are already contingencies in the estimate that American Structure Point put together. We heard Mr. Case say that they've been doing some value engineering, been saving money. I don't know that this body has to take action to allow them to use what was already approved in the contract as it relates to contingencies or line items.
No, there's
So-
no change order in front of you to have to approve. So.
Correct. So I believe, Mr. Case, you should proceed with your best recommendation to stay within the scope of the project between you and American Structure Point to put in the subsurface drain. As far as the NDOT application,
we should probably get that permit going quickly, irrespective who does it, right? If we wait until a month from now, we're only going to delay it. So we need to get that NDOT permit going. Okay. I also think it's important for this body, a few members know, maybe not everyone, that this is the second issue that's been found during, you guys were aware of the sewer cap thing that was not previously identified. So, okay. Mr. Case, you have any questions? You know what you're doing. Okay. American Structure Point, any comment, anything that we missed?
No, it's mostly based on the fact that we only have 11 users out there and that our rates have been relatively low. And it's also an aging system. Just from memory, last year we had a $50,000 repair in the underground tank. And obviously staff time and equipment costs and those sort of things. It's not so much based on how much water we're pumping out.
So we'll see you back next month for a couple items, Chase.
Thank you. Looking forward to it.
I'll bet you're not. Thank you to American Structure Point for being here, and thank you to 3D for being here.
All right, moving on. Number 11 on the agenda, 9175 South Innovation Drive inquiries.
So the commission probably recalls that you decided to get an appraisal on the 8.33 acres out at Daleville, the 9175 South Innovation Drive property. Since then, we've had 2 requests that I'm aware of those interested in that property. The first, there's an interest letter from Alejandro Gonzalez from Ace Carports. He's interested in the 4.4 acres. That is the most western parcel off the interstate there. He did go ahead and get another appraisal from American United, and in that appraisal, it came back at $76,000 per acre for a total of $336,000 for that parcel. The second inquiry is from Mr. Jim Reed. I believe Brian Allard is here today, in case there are any questions regarding that. But it's my understanding that he's interested in the eastern parcel that is closest to the 50,000 square foot building. Is that correct? Or is there interest in both parcels? No, so both parcels.
Do you know what was the request on the second proposal? What was the amount?
It is $62,500 per acre.
For a total of?
$500,000.
500. And our initial appraisal was 1 point something.
850,000.
857.
Total 7.43 acres. Parcel 1, 3.93 net acres was valued at 510,000. And parcel number 2, 3.5 net acres was valued at 385,000 for a total of 850,000. Or $114,401.07 an acre. And if you guys recall, there was a discussion in the last meeting about a discrepancy in acreage. It was always advertised as an 8.33 acre, but it's really 7.43 acres. Is that correct? Go to the phone a friend.
I recall that discussion. We were
Yeah.
trying to figure out the precise acreage. I guess my underlying in front of me is this has really been brought to market not even a month ago, and there's 2 proposals. While they're both below our appraisal, I understand there's a difference in appraisers' views. Seems there's a lot of interest in these properties. We haven't even marketed them.
One parcel's at 3.9, the other's at 4.41.
Okay.
Per county assessor record that the appraiser used for basis.
So that gets us back to the 8.3.
Correct.
1 acres.
I mean, that's what the county would have to convey.
Yep.
Unless there's a challenge out there that
Gotcha.
you don't know about.
So what's the request? What are you asking the board to do?
Asked to bring those inquiries to the table, and I believe it is up to the commission to decide what the next steps.
Okay.
I agree with Gina. I think I don't know that there's necessarily any action that has to be taken. This isn't listed on the agenda as an actionable item. But I share Mr. Kiesling's sentiment that really we've done no marketing of this other than speaking to an appraisal in a public meeting, and already have 2 interested parties, one only being interested in a portion of the 8.3 or 7.4 acres, both under the appraisal that we paid for, one doing another appraisal on their own. Personally, my opinion, I would like to see some actual marketing teeth put behind this. But that's just me.
If I could speak a minute, I'm Brian Allard and representing Jim Reed, who owns the former Wesco building, which is on 8.33 acres. I think the county had initially bought 16 acres and then divided it up, built the spec building, and Wesco occupied that after a few years. And the access for the other 8 acres is somewhat limited. So I was surprised that, the value that they had at 850 seemed to be out of line in terms of what the other properties. I looked at the appraisal, quickly, and it had some retail properties that I feel probably aren't comparable to that, being more of a business industrial property with access, limited. It does have interstate frontage, so it does have value, but Jim Reed would like to, make sure the development is compatible with his building and not somebody coming up and putting up something that would detract from his building, which was about a $4 million or a $5 million purchase. So he's concerned about that as well.
Mr. Allard, I don't know if you can speak about it, but there is a new business in Jim Reed's building.
Yes, there is. And Grant Smith, one of the partners in that business, is here today too. If anybody has any questions for Grant.
Yeah, I understand Mr. Smith's business is going well. And could you come up, please?
So my name's Grant. I'm with Truman Tool. Like I said, we're in the old Wesco building, and we sell automotive car lifts, tire changers, wheel balancers. Pretty much been open for about 3 weeks now. Jim's been a great landlord, and we obviously we had the same company that we have now that we sold back in 2015. So we've kind of reopened it underneath a different name, obviously. We were extremely successful years and years ago. We had upwards of eight locations, 50 employees, whatnot. We've been in talks with Jim if he were to get this property. Obviously we're not there yet. We're three weeks into this, but maybe doing something if we ever needed to expand, have more warehouse space, or even doing another venture with Jim as well. So.
Thank you.
Yep.
Seeing this is an informatory, Danielle, this is not an action required by us.
Right, I think what Gina's looking for is, what do you want to do next? How do you want to proceed on this land now that it's kind of a hot topic? It's come up in a few board meetings. What do you want to do to market it? Do you want to look at the offers on the table? Do you want to get proposals from people?
Gina, do you know if this is listed on the Economic Development Alliance's website? Is this listed?
Yes.
Yes. Has it been marketed in any other capacity that I'm unaware of?
Hi, Tracy Lutton with the Economic Development Alliance. We have not proposed this specific property for projects because of the site access issue. So when the former Wesco building was available, we did propose it in the context of expandable area for that building. But as a standalone site, the challenge with the access has really been a limiting factor in our ability to propose it for projects. It is on our website though. And it's also on the state of Indiana's website and some utility partner websites.
Tracy, you mentioned the access, as did Mr. Allard, and that's been discussed here multiple times. Also, the size is kind of, the acreage is more, below the.
Right, it is smaller than most leads that we get for standalone sites.
To me, the greatest opportunity is probably with an expansion of an appropriate nearby industrial use. I personally don't have a strong interest in splitting the land at this time, and I almost would lean towards how can we market this and make it the best possible return. We have only had this out for a month, and there's clearly interest in it.
I'm not against advertising it, but the access is a significant issue. The only access comes between the material handling business and I-69. It's a very narrow road. In fact, the material handling business is using the road as a parking lot. They actually have inventory stored on it right now, which I'm not complaining, but if we ever need to use it for a road, we'd asked Mr. Reed for access and we were denied. It's his property. I'm not complaining. I'm just saying that we've tried to improve the access to this. My belief is you don't get what you deserve. You get what you negotiate. And are we willing to make a counteroffer?
I will mention too that the county had offered it previously to Mr. Reed for $400,000 after Wesco left. At that time, he didn't have the funds to purchase the property, or would have purchased that. But he is willing to purchase it at this point.
How long ago was that, Mr. Allard?
That would be, let's say, 1.5 to 2 years ago.
Okay. And the current offer is $336,000.
No, his offer is $500,000 for the
$500,000.
entire 8.33 acres.
Gotcha.
One of the difficult things to measure is the obsolescence component. There are 3 types of obsolescence when you talk about real estate: economic, physical, and
Own it.
I thank you.
Yeah.
I'm glad to hear that, because it's not doing anybody good just sitting there. I would recommend that this body take a hard look at what we have on the table and make a decision.
At this point, I would entertain a motion to table this so we can review the offers that we currently have.
I'll make that
completely
motion.
agree with what Carrie said. I don't think we need to continue owning this, and I don't want to stand in the way of expansion or development. I appreciate you being here and putting your business here. And I would like to see how we can potentially assess
I'll make
the
that
offer
motion.
that we have.
I'll make that motion, ma'am.
Second.
Okay, thank you. Roll call, please.
Mr. Kiesling,
Yes.
Commissioner Brand,
Yes.
Mr. Wiggley,
Yes.
Ms. Green.
Yes. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Bill.
Thank you both.
Moving on to invoices. Do you have any questions on the invoices?
Make a motion to approve the invoices as presented.
Second.
Okay, roll call, please.
Mr. Keesling,
Yes.
Commissioner Brand,
Yes.
Mr. Wiggleby,
Yes.
Ms. Green.
Yes. We have no bond or bot invoices. Public comment. Mr. McConnell had signed up, but he has already left. And next on the list is Yenser.
Almost didn't recognize him.
Don't make it personal.
I didn't. I just said almost didn't recognize you when I first came in.
Ricky Enser, newsman and author. Since I've sat here for 2 hours, I'd like to put a little bit of context to what you did or didn't do today. I'll start with the old hometown there, Yorktown. Too much, not enough, and we're still having problems out there. If I recall that project some time ago, it needed utilities, and it's a long reach from Muncie and Yorktown to 69. That's why you're still seeing failed utilities or utilities for anybody that wants to build whatever they want out there. The water problem too, if they're going to raise rates, that seems to be a problem for the old town. While you've got a data center out there right under the water tower, and I don't know if it had anything to do with the tank failing or whatever, but as more development comes to this community, I think this group or government in general needs to put more utilities out by the interstate, because we're not done yet with data centers, other projects that come in here on these industrial sites that were located because of transportation along the utility. And even though the town manager didn't mention, I'll mention it, and I'll keep mentioning it, that after years of creating tips all over this county, maybe you should give some back to the towns that are responsible for the utilities or for other projects. I know you did a deal with Daleville some time ago. I would suggest you look strongly at giving the Park One back to Yorktown and let them deal, or at least help keep the Park One developable, because again, you know, there's another project out there that's worth about 20 million, a Muncie Power Products, bringing a manufacturing plant there. So you're going to have more development there just because of the transportation. Otherwise, I'm glad you're nickel and diming, because again, I'm kind of a purist. I still want to see this group, like City Group, create jobs, not build houses, not necessarily buy, sell, and trade, which we're having with property management companies coming in here and buying up a lot of property, and all that money from those outside property managers, whether it's New York, Miami, or even China, that money goes there, not here. But thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else from the public wish to speak? Okay. Any comments from the commission?
I actually have some. I was waiting politely. There were some documents came through for the trail. They were looking for approval for a force account estimate. This is from the railroad, correct?
Correct.
And we don't have the ability to negotiate with them. We basically have to adopt it.
Right. I did try at the beginning to negotiate down some of the fees and was very unsuccessful.
Yeah. So do we need to take formal action to approve these in this?
I think it for clarity purposes, I think it would be good. We've already approved what we're doing out there, but they keep sending documents, so I think it would be good to have it on the record.
So the two things that we've been asked to approve by VS Engineering, a draft force account estimate by Norfolk Southern requested, and a product engineering supplemental agreement. Norfolk Southern requests an additional $5,000 more for review of the crossing drawings that we previously provided. So they're relatively minor in cost, but this is, remember, we still have the gap out there at the railroad on Cowan, which is just south of Progress Rail and north of the post office. And then we have the 23rd Street Trail expansion, which is the MIC2 trail. And
I think we should take action. So I would make a motion to approve the draft force account estimate and the product engineering supplemental agreement.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Keys,
Yes.
Commissioner Brand,
Yes.
Mr. Wiggley,
Yes.
Ms. Green.
Yes.
We also had an update from Isaiah 117 House. Looks like water is moving forward. Basically, the weather has had a couple of challenges for them, but they are moving forward. Earlier, when we talked about paving, Mr. Thomas mentioned very quickly CCMG. Mr. Kiesling noted the gasoline tax, which could impact our road funding going forward. I also believe that CCMG funding, whether it exists or not in the future, is one thing, but I believe it will get reduced, and that we rely on that heavily for our road funding. So I think that's important to note. L&J Manufacturing continues to do what they said they were going to do. I don't know if you've had an opportunity to get by there on Council Street, but the building is up and enclosed, and they're starting to move some equipment around. There was some communication going back and forth. This body, prior to most of us being on, built a couple of steel footbridges, one on Cowan Road over Buck Creek, just south of the Port Hoyt intersection, and one on South Tillotson, just north of Cornbread Road and south of 12th Street. And the question came up about maintenance of those bridges. And the first question was, are they on our bridge inventory? They're not, because they're not vehicle bridges, but they are footbridges, pedestrian bridges. So I just want to make this body aware that right now, while they're installed and they're paid for, I don't see a maintenance fund for those bridges. And I don't know that this body committed any money to doing that. They're certainly not on the county's bridge inventory. And one of these days, there's going to be something happen, and there's not going to be a maintenance fund for it. There was a request for some property on Cowan Road on the east side of Progress Rail. Are we saving that for the next meeting? That's MD's. It's asking to look at the property. They're interested in property that this body owns.
I'm working on getting some more information.
Okay, so that'll be on our next agenda. Mm-hmm. Okay, I'll save that. Also, there's still an agreement for the Progress Rail or the Fountain Square TIF to repay the Creed board. So I just want to make sure we keep that in front of us. And that's it for me. Thank you.
For the Creed repayment, since there is no timeline that we are on, I would recommend that we wait until either July or August when we have the TIF revenues to then repay it.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I just want to keep it in front of us that that's an obligation that Creed bailed out the
Understood.
Fountain Square. That's all for me.
Thank you. Anything from anyone else? Okay, meeting is adjourned.